Dakota Senator John Hoeven finished up a statewide tour in Fargo today.
He stopped by to discuss the defense allocation bill that could bring some opportunities to the Fargo economy. Hoeven is part of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Military Construction. Their recent legislation overall increased military spending by 3%. That means upgrades to the nuclear capabilities in Minot Air Force Base, more funding for satellites up in Grand Forks, and research jobs in Fargo that can help the country keep pace with its rivals.
Right now, we get those high-tech batteries from China. Well, that's our adversary. We've got to produce that here at home. That is not only exciting new technology, vital, in terms of our military defense of our country, but really great new careers and opportunities here in North Dakota.
Also impacting Fargo, the legislation allocates almost $180 million for the Air National Guard to continue upgrading its Reaper fleet.